Have you ever found a frog sitting completely still in your garden and wondered why it isn't moving? Maybe you thought it was sick, maybe you thought it was waiting for something. But what if that tiny frog is actually doing one of the most important jobs in your backyard? As the sun disappears and the garden becomes quiet, frogs begin to wake up. While most people are inside their homes, a completely different world comes alive outside. Insects crawl through the grass, moths move between plants, beetles search beneath leaves, and somewhere in the darkness, a frog is waiting. It doesn't need to chase its prey for minutes or run through the garden. It simply sits perfectly still, watching and waiting for the right moment. Then, in a fraction of a second, its sticky tongue shoots forward and an insect disappears. For a frog, this isn't just hunting, it's survival. During the warmer months, frogs can spend night after night searching for insects and other small creatures. Every meal provides energy for the next day, but when autumn arrives and temperatures begin to fall, everything changes. The insects become harder to find, the nights become colder, and the frog's body begins slowing down. Unlike mammals, frogs cannot produce enough internal heat to keep themselves warm. Their body temperature is strongly influenced by the environment around them, so as the temperature drops, their movement becomes slower, their metabolism decreases, and finding food becomes much more difficult. So the frog needs somewhere safe to disappear. It might hide beneath fallen leaves, shelter under an old log, burrow into loose soil, or find protection among plant roots. To a person walking through the garden, these places may look completely ordinary, but to a frog they can become the difference between surviving winter and dying from the cold. A thick layer of leaves can protect a tiny body from sudden temperature changes. Loose soil can provide shelter from freezing winds, while a fallen branch can create a small, hidden space where the temperature remains more stable. This is why clearing every leaf and removing every piece of natural debris from a garden can sometimes cause an unexpected problem. The place that looks messy to us may be a home to something much smaller. And the frog isn't the only animal depending on these hidden spaces. Under leaves, beneath logs, and inside the soil, countless tiny creatures are living their own secret lives. Insects, spiders, worms, beetles, and other small animals are constantly moving through this miniature world. The frog is part of that world, and it plays a surprisingly important role in keeping it balanced. A single frog can eat a large number of insects during the active season. It doesn't understand that it is protecting your garden, and it isn't trying to help your plants. It is simply looking for its next meal, but the result can still be incredibly useful. While you are sleeping, the frog may be hunting insects around your plants. It may be sitting beneath a bush waiting for a moth, or hiding beside a garden path watching a beetle move through the grass. You may never even notice it, and that's exactly what makes frogs so interesting. They can spend much of their lives quietly working through the night, while most of the world is asleep. But frogs face dangers that have nothing to do with predators. Their habitats are disappearing. Ponds and wetlands are being destroyed. Roads divide areas where frogs once moved freely. Pollution can damage the water they depend on, and chemicals used in gardens can affect the insects they eat and the environments where they live. And because a frog's skin is so important to how its body interacts with the environment, changes around it can have serious consequences. For a tiny animal, the loss of one pond can completely change its world. The loss of one safe hiding place can mean the difference between surviving a cold season and never seeing spring. This is why even a small garden can sometimes become an important refuge. A clean source of shallow water can provide a place to drink and cool down. Native plants can create shelter. Fallen leaves can provide hiding places, and a small opening beneath a fence can allow animals to move between gardens. These things may seem insignificant, but nature often depends on small things. Imagine walking through your garden late at night. The air is cool, the grass is covered with moisture, and everything looks completely still. Then you notice two small eyes near the edge of a plant. A frog is sitting there. It doesn't move. You take another step. Still nothing. Then suddenly its tongue shoots forward. An insect disappears and the frog becomes completely still again. For a few seconds, you might wonder if anything happened at all, but that's the secret. The frog doesn't need to be loud to be successful. It doesn't need to be large. It doesn't need sharp teeth or powerful claws. It simply needs to wait, and sometimes that is enough. As winter approaches, however, the frog's nighttime world begins to disappear. The insects become less active, the temperature continues falling, and eventually the frog must retreat into a protected place and slow its body down. Some frogs spend winter buried beneath soil or leaves, others shelter underwater or in protected spaces, and some species have developed extraordinary adaptations that allow them to survive freezing temperatures. In certain frogs, parts of the body can actually freeze while special chemicals help protect their cells from serious damage. Their heartbeat can slow dramatically, their breathing can nearly stop. Their entire body enters a state where energy is used as slowly as possible. From the outside, the frog may appear lifeless, but inside its body is fighting to survive. Then when warmer weather finally returns, the process reverses. The temperature rises, the ground begins to soften, water becomes available again, insects return, and slowly, the frog's body becomes active once more. The quiet creature that disappeared beneath the leaves is suddenly back in the garden. Soon the nighttime world begins moving again. Insects return to the plants, spiders rebuild their webs, birds search for food, and frogs begin hunting once again. The cycle starts over. But there is something remarkable about this cycle. A frog doesn't need a huge forest to survive. Sometimes it needs only a small piece of suitable habitat. A pond, a few plants, some leaves, a little shade, and somewhere safe to hide. That means the spaces around our homes can become much more important than we realize. The next time you see a frog sitting quietly in your garden, don't assume it doesn't belong there. It may be helping control insects, searching for food, preparing for winter, or simply waiting for the perfect moment to make its next move. Sometimes the best way to help wildlife isn't to pick it up or take it somewhere else. Sometimes it's simply to leave its home alone. A pile of leaves may look like garden waste, an old log may look useless, and a quiet corner may look forgotten, but to a frog, these things can be shelter, protection, and a place to survive. Nature doesn't always announce its most important stories. Sometimes they're happening quietly beneath our feet. And the next time you hear a frog calling from somewhere in the darkness, remember that you're hearing one small voice from an entire hidden world that continues working while we sleep. Here at Yafa Wisdom, we uncover the hidden lives of the animals, birds, and insects we see every day, revealing the extraordinary science and remarkable stories behind the creatures most people overlook. If this video changed the way you see frogs, subscribe and join us every week as we explore another secret from the natural world. Until next time, stay curious, because sometimes the smallest creatures are doing the biggest work without anyone noticing.